Activity completion is another great way to make sure your students are engaging with your distance learning class. Now, I'm in my sandbox. I'm logged in as a teacher, and you can see that I changed the format so that we can see everything all at once instead of just one learning section at a time. And I did that on purpose because I want you to notice these check boxes over here. Some of these check boxes are dotted check boxes, while others are solid check boxes. And basically what these check boxes are is a way for you as the teacher and for the student to, recognize what parts of the course the student has done and which parts are still needing to be done. Now, the difference between a dotted checkbox and a solid checkbox is the solid checkbox the student would check off to indicate that he has completed it manually, whereas the dotted checkbox means the student has to do something in order for it to automatically be checked off. So I'm going to log in as the teacher. I'm going to go to editing mode. And so let's go to this links versus embedding. So I'm going to edit this course. And I can go down here to activity completion. And right now, the student is the one who manually marks off when the activity is completed. And that's why it was a solid box. But I can change that to either do not indicate whether, do not include this at all with respect to that activity completion. Or I can change it to show the activity is completed when, and then here it is, when the student views, in this case, views this activity. And I can choose a date to make that happen by, like I can give some sort of required view date, and I can save and return to class. And now when I view, turn it off, I can see that this page went from a solid square to a dotted square, meaning when the student views that page, it will automatically be checked off. Now there are some, like a forum discussion. Let's go down here. There's a forum discussion here. Well, let's do the favorite pets. So I'm going to click on the favorite pets, and I'm going to go down here to edit the settings of this choice. And I can go down here to activity completion. And rather than having the student manually mark it when completed, I can say, show the activity is completed when, and I can say when the student, right there, show as complete when the user makes a choice. And so I can click save and return, and I can see now that it is now a dotted square instead of that solid square. Now this is a forum discussion, and forum discussions, I'm going to scroll down here to edit settings, have a much more elaborate set of completion options, I guess is a way to say it. Rather than having it manually marked, which is perfectly fine, I could say, let's show the activity is complete when, and now I can say I want to require that student to post one discussion. And then I also maybe can say I want to also require that the student post 2 replies. So that's a classic setting right there. And I can say, oh, I want that to be required to be done by the 12th. And when I save and return to course, I can see that the forum discussion is now a dotted checkbox. So this activity completion is a great way to kind of make sure that the kids are being engaged with the class and they are doing what is required. It almost gamifies this learning experience because now the kids are trying to do their best to collect their check boxes. Now, if you want to take a look at what this would look like from a student point of view, here I am as a sandbox in the sandbox class. I'm logged in as that fake student, and I can start to see that, ooh, look at this. This, which is your favorite pet to have, has been checked off because that is a choice that I had already participated in. I remember that this page to demonstrate ADDO is one that I made as a teacher that is only going to be marked off as completed when the student views the page. Now, it won't know if the student actually watched the videos or listened to the audio, but when I go back to the sandbox, I, as the student, can see, oh, look at that. I now have a checkbox here. Now, this lesson about dogs is manually checked off by me. So I'm going to check that off and say, look at that. I have checked it off manually, saying it is now completed. And that's the idea of what a checkbox is. It's a way for the student to kind of gamify that experience and kind of collect those checkboxes to increase the activity engagement for this distance learning experience. Now, the reason for doing this activity completion checkbox thing is as the teacher, I'm back in my sandbox. Now, what I can do is I can click on reports and I can click on activity completion. We're going to save course participation, all that stuff for later, but activity completion, I click on it and here's my class roster. And I can see all of the assignments and resources and activities in this course. And I can see which ones require some sort of actual activity. Those are the dotted checkboxes, versus which ones are going to be manually checked off by the student. Those are the solid boxes. And I can see my fake student A is making progress. So on this report, I can easily check in on my students to see how they are doing in terms of making the progress in this course. So using these checkboxes for your activity completion is a really excellent idea for making your distance learning site an engaging experience.